Welcome back to PSC's Tech Bytes. Today I want to explain you how to work with the pagination PnP React reusable control, which is part of the rich family of PnP reusable React controls. The pagination control allows us to configure the current page number, the total pages count, as well as to handle the onChange event whenever the user will click on a page number or on the chevron to go to the last or to the first page of the list of pages. It is fully customizable from a UI point of view, simply working on the CSS styles, and works really well whenever you want to consume SharePoint Online data using PnPjs and the paginated requests of PnPjs. So let me move to the demo environment and let me show you a demo in action. So this is the official documentation page of the PnP pagination control, where you can find a really useful reference about how to use it. Then let's assume we have a document library in a target SharePoint Online site, and we want to do pagination on top of these items in a custom web part. And here we are. This is the demo web part I'm going to show you. Here we can scroll through the pages and we can see all of the documents in the document library, and we can move to the first and to the last page of the pages of our document library. How can we implement such a solution? Well, let me switch to Visual Studio Code and let me explain you what I did. First of all, I have a web part. In this web part, I'm going to use a React-based UI component, and for the sake of simplicity, I'm just providing the context of SPFx to the React component. Then, in this solution, I'm referencing PnPjs, specifically version 3 dot something. And I'm using graph, logging, and SP. Actually, graph is not really needed in this scenario. We can just rely on SP and logging if you like. Then in the TSX component, in the React component of my solution, I simply defined in the render method a list view control, which will be rendered if I will have documents to render, and an instance of the pagination control. The pagination control is configured to use the current page as the value of the current page in the state, as well as to render in the list view the documents which are still coming out from the state, and then I simply make a calculation of the total page count using the overall items count and the page size, which is of 5 in my solution, a predefined hard-coded 5 value, so that I can determine the number of pages that I want to show in the pagination control. Then, whenever the user will click on the button to change the page, I will get the event onChange page triggered, and I will get the new page number selected by the user. Then I have a load documents method which will accept the page to show and the page size, and I will rely on that function either in the component did mount when I initially load the React component, as well as whenever the user will change the current page. Moreover, in the constructor of my React component, I set the initial values for my state, so the current page will be the first one. I don't have any page items count and I don't have any documents at the beginning, but I configured the SP object for PnPjs using this utility method getSP that you can see configured in this TS file, where I simply export this function, which will accept the web part context and will return an initialized SPFi object to my code. So that in the load document function, if I dig into that one, we can see that we make a calculation of the number of items that we want to skip and we want to take, so that we can define the actual items that we want to retrieve from SharePoint for the currently requested page based on the page number and page size. Then we use PnPjs and we access the web object with the fluid syntax of PnPjs. We access the collection of lists. We get a specific list by title, and then we say that we want to get the items and we want to select these properties, this metadata of every single item. We want to skip and take, skip and top the items in order to define the page that we want to retrieve, and then we use the getPage method to get a fully typed result ready to be paged. Actually, in this scenario, I'm not using the full set of functionalities of the getPage because I want to target the capability to move backward and forward across different pages. Then I make a low-level HTTP request through the SPHTTP client object of the SharePoint framework context to get the overall count of items in my target lists. In fact, I say, okay, give me the absolute URL of the web, go to _API web lists get by title. Still, I use the title of my configured target list, and then I use the item count endpoint of the REST APIs of SharePoint Online to get the overall count of items, and I simply read it from the JSON response. So that once I've done that, if I have any results, I can configure the state of my React component to show the current page, to have the overall and total items count, and to have the results of the query for the currently requested page, so that this will be the data binding source for my list of documents. So it is really simple to imagine that whenever the user will click on the pagination control, we will go to the on change page, we will load the documents for the current page, and here we will do the magic to get the actual items in the page requested by the user and to always get the overall count of items to update the state. Really simple, straightforward, and really powerful. Like always, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting, and I really look forward to seeing you next week. And remember, subscribe to this channel. Thank you.